Trekkies and Trekkers! Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I'm your host Orinda, and together with my lovely co-host Amanda Hopper, we will recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek, starting with Star Trek The Next Generations. All the episodes will be recapped in chronicle following. We will approach each episode with a humor and a feminine look. Today's recap is of the episode Naked Now. So, let me introduce you first to my co-host Amanda. Hello, Amanda.
Well, hello.
Nice talking to you again.
Same here.
So, this week we have watched The Naked Now. What do you think about this episode?
It was really actually kind of funny in some parts. They had some pretty funny parts in it. Like, basically everybody's drunk basically off this virus. It's like, if they touch someone, they got it. And it was passed down from person to person, basically.
So, basically, the Enterprise has to go to his next mission, and they have to go rendezvous with the science vessel of SS Jaloskovsky. And they had to go wonderful with it because they got, Starfleet got a lot of weird messages of it. Tchaikovsky was there because they were investigating a red supergiant star that turned into a white dwarf. So it was a little bit of spectacular as well, but also a little bit dangerous.
Yes, because it could easily explode at a moment's notice, and basically the star could explode at a moment's notice without warning.
Yeah, and of course they also got those strange messages of the crew, and when they hailed the vessel, was that it was a woman who was talking very flirtatious, and
that was like a party atmosphere in the background too.
Yeah. And while they were partying, there was a big explosion, and there was a emergency hatch that's blown out from the bridge, and
they were all sucked out. Whoever was on the bridge was sucked out into space.
Yeah, and the rating went down, and it was a really weird environment, the whole ship, and they found frozen crew, and that was the first thing that when Geordi touched that frozen body,
and that was in a shower, I think.
Yeah, that was in the shower. That was also a weird thing, to frozen up in the shower. That was how the infection went over to Geordi, and that's how it came on the Enterprise.
Yeah, through Geordi.
Did you notice, by the way, that Diana Troy's hair was hideous? Oh my god.
It was. She had.
Yeah, I think that was the moment also that they are going to experiment with her hair and her clothing. I remember in one of the interviews that she said I hated it.
Yeah, I think some of her hair was part of a wig, wasn't it?
I think a lot was of it, because I remember also in another interview that she said, well, I have stolen 1 or 2 wigs off the set from Diana, and the wig that she is wearing in Star Trek Picard, that is her wig from Star Trek Nemesis.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, she talked about that in one of the interviews, and that's the first thing I saw her hair, I was thinking, oh my god, poor Marina. But that was, I don't know if and how much they did that with the other actors as well, because when I was listening to one of the podcast episode of the Delta Flyers from Tom Paris and Harry Kim, they also said they had to use, every time they went on set, they always had to wear a wig.
Oh.
So I was thinking, oh, okay, I didn't notice that. But, yeah, so who knows how many actors had to have wearing a wig in TNG?
Yeah, I think Brent Spiner probably did.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe it was a wig. Maybe it was his hair all brushed back real tight.
I don't know. Maybe we can ask him or look it up. Maybe it is somewhere.
Say to him, hey, come on the podcast.
If we are going to the next scene, the away team is back in the sick bay, and they are going to see.
Tricord.
Yeah.
Crusher is using her medical tricorder to make sure they didn't bring back any diseases or pathogens or something that could harm the ship. But right away, the thing don't really recognize the virus that Geordi has. Basically, it's hidden for now.
No, and that was the weird thing, and they noticed it because he became snappy, and that it was hot in the room.
Yeah, they said it was getting a bit warmer in the room, and it was stifling.
So
that's it. Mm.
And that was just the point that Dr. Crusher was thinking, okay, maybe there is something, but there's nothing to see on my tricorder or scans that I did.
Mm. So she decided to keep him in sickbay for now.
Yeah, and when she went to her office to check something, he put his combat down and he left sickbay.
Yep, he took right off on her.
So, and I said this last episode as well. You can see how, quote, how young Data is, end quote, in how he behaves and how he talks, and later on, I'm going to jump now, but okay, later on in the episode, Data got infected, and that was what I was thinking, question mark.
Yeah.
How
was so bizarre.
How can Data be infected? And if you are going further in the episode, when Dr. Crusher had the antidote for this infection, he got a doses as well, but that is so strange because he's an android.
Yeah, I know that. I was like, wait a minute, if he's an android, how in heaven's earth did he get infected if he's an android? And then he got the hypo spray. Huh?
Yeah, that was so weird. And in one way, Data is explaining it from, okay, my neural network can be as like nerve center love for you, etc., etc. But it was still weird that he is being affected. And that reminds me also, if you are looking from Star Trek Picard, when the androids and the synths got their own mind in a way. So, yeah, I was thinking about that with Data too. And it was really weird. And as soon as Data got his shot, he went faster to work to get those
isolinear chips back in the wall.
Yeah.
Isolinear. Oh. And then he was like just went really, really, really quick.
Yeah, well, we're going back to that scene of Jodie leaving the sick bay. So Jodie is going to visit Wesley, and Wesley has a science project with tractor beams and whatever he does, but also he made a thingy with he can mimic the
People's
voices.
voices, like Picard's and others.
And in one way, I was thinking, okay, he is smart, he is bored because he can't go do his work everywhere on the ship because Captain Picard doesn't like children in a way.
Yeah.
And so I think it is his youth, but also his thinking of, okay, I'm going to do this and let's see what I can make of it. Not in the bad way. He finds out how bad it really was when they were endangered with the that the white dwarf was coming at them.
Yeah.
So
Oh, because Wesley basically, in the episode, after a while, he took over engineering and used that little piece of equipment of his to create like a shield over the doorway so no one could get in except for that other dude that was playing with the isolinear chips.
I think in one way he was just like a Jokin, that innocent kid that doesn't know the consequences of it.
Yeah.
But in the other way, it was more like, he didn't know what the consequences of it was, and he just noticed that when Riker went down to engineering with the engineering chief, then he figured out an oops, I did something really bad.
Yeah, I was like, oh crap, I'm in trouble.
So, well, we were read that Jodie have left the sick bay, and there is a shipwise search for him, and Tasha found him in the observation launch.
Yeah, that's where she found him, and that's also where she was infected by him.
Yeah. And the remarkable thing was that Geordie didn't want to put his visor on. He wanted to he wanted to see us how we do.
Yeah, he said, I want to see like you do, how other people see, he said to Tasha.
Yeah, and Tasha brings him to the sick bay again.
Yeah.
And so it's from there the infection is spreading over the ship.
Yeah. And
we could see that when Tasha went to Troy's quarters because she wanted some advice about clothing.
Yeah. Because Troy, she said, Troy dressed nicely.
Yeah.
That's a nice quality.
Yeah. So the average radius was already thinking, oh, she got it too now. I need to bring her to sick bay. So she brought Tasha to sick bay, and that is how she got infected.
I don't think she brought Yar to sick bay because Yar took off from her and then proceeded to, because Yar was doing her little hip wiggle thing there and while walking by some crew members, and then I think she also proceeded to give this guy the big old kiss on the lips. All this mayhem going on.
Yeah. So then Wesley showed Dr. Crusher in sickbay what he did with the tractor beam and what his science project was, and Dr. Crusher urged him to go back to...
Stay in his room.
Yeah. Because
go back to the quarters.
Yeah. Because it was...
dangerous.
Yeah, it was dangerous, but it was also... she didn't know how much effect it was.
Yeah. And when he was leaving, he's like, "Is it a little hot in here, or just me?" He says to her.
Yeah, and it's that's how he got infected, and so the ship had to be on quarantine in one way.
Yeah.
And let me see, where am I in with the scenes? Okay, yeah. The next scene is that we're all on the bridge, and Picard is a little bit worried about the star that is going to explode. And although Riker, and that's what was one thing too, what I was thinking at the end of the episode, Riker is more or less the hero in this episode because he didn't has been infected as most of them. So he tried to get working, and even when Picard was infected, he took, and you could see that he took over the ship's command, and you could see that because he then sat in the captain's chair.
Yeah, he had more control over what was going on with himself. Because everyone else was like really, really, really infected really bad. He seemed to be able to like control himself for quite a while.
Yeah.
And able to like command the ship for a while until the antidote was done.
Yeah, and it was and that was a little weird too. Diana was a little bit in that way infected of. I thought it was a little weird that it didn't have the same effect on the other crew members.
No, like her case must have been like a mild case of it. She might have had.
Yeah, perhaps, and maybe I don't know. But that's also. I got the feeling too that she, like Will Riker, and that was another thing. When she visited Riker in the engineering, and she was already infected with that, she called him Bill.
Bill. Yeah, she called him Will.
Instead
of calling Commander Riker, she called him Will.
Yeah. No, she called him Bill, and not Will. So that was weird too.
Oh yes, Bill. I was like, did she say Bill or Will?
So that was a little weird. That I was thinking, okay, why is she calling him Bill instead of Will?
It could have been a slip up in the saying.
Can be, yeah. Who knows?
But so people are named Will, or sometimes called Bill, I guess.
It's weird. I need to see if I can find out if it is something with it. I don't know, because it's a little weird that she is calling him Bill.
Yeah. Huh.
Okay, so we were on the bridge, and Picard was a little worried about the star, and he was talking to Will Riker, and then his voice sounded over the whole ship, and that was Wesley who was saying, "I'm playing. Okay, put all the commands to engineering to acting Captain Wesley Crusher."
Oh, the little brat. Oh. Yeah, that kid was a smarty pants. He had that thing tuned to Picard's voice and put all controls to engineering and named himself acting captain.
In one way, it was very weird. But on the other hand, what would you do at that age if you had the knowledge and whatever and you were infected? And I remember Picard was talking to him and to convince him that he had to give the command back to the bridge. And so Picard was explaining to him that the infection is some kind of like
being drunk.
Drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol intoxication, he said. And Wesley's like, "Oh, cool! I'm drunk."
I think his reaction is like every young boy, young girl would do that at that age, I guess. Even if you are living in the future.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure there's kids in the future that rebel at that age.
I think it's not a kind of rebellious, but I think it
No,
was, like I said, in one way, he uses his brilliance, he's infected,
yeah,
but it's also like some kind of an innocent something, and later on he just teach what the consequences are. So, well, the next scene was a really funny scene, I guess. That was that Data was collecting Tasha to bring her to the sick bay, and Tasha was hitting on him.
Yep, in a suit that showed a lot of skin, and she had a figure on her. Like, this outfit looked really nice on her. I don't know what you would call it, but it was a really nice outfit. And it was like
it is.
I think it was like a pants dress thing.
Yeah, it's like a... I don't want to say
like
exotic. Pants that you would wear in Persia or like a desert country or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. Kind of like what Jasmine wore in Aladdin.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Except for the top part, Jasmine wouldn't wear a top like that.
You know, what I was thinking about this scene as well is how hard this must be for Brent Spiner to act like he had to act like an android that just was programmed, and that she was asking him as well, yeah, you are fully programmed for pleasure, right?
I'm fully functional and capable in many ways, he said.
That was so funny.
I know.
But I think it's also, like I said before, it's very nice to see how young Data still is. He still is innocent, he still is curious, and you see that in every time he speaks, for example, with Riker and Picard, in how he question, for example, a human word he doesn't know and ask them to explain it.
Yeah. Like one point he had like humor explained to him because he didn't get the point of it at first.
Well, the funny thing was when I thought that was Picard or Riker, they make a joke and Data didn't understood it, and so I thought Picard was explaining him to him, and then Picard and Riker sat down and he looked at Worf, and Worf said to him, I don't understand their human as well.
Yeah. Well, there's one woman on the ship that she said the joke over the airways that probably everyone on the ship heard it, and Data's like, oh, I heard this little joke coming from, I forget if it was engineering or the shuttle bay. There was a young girl from Venus whose body was shaped like, and Picard's like, Data, stop that! Like, basically flat out told Data not to tell the rest of the joke.
Yeah, and that was also in that episode that he went to the holodeck and to learn from a comedian what humor was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's later on.
I forget the name of that episode, but it was funny. And Guinan, at one point in that episode, too, goes with him, too.
Data and Riker are spitting down the whole Enterprise library of finding a cure or what can help, what the symptom is, and Picard was very convinced that they had found the cure, so he sent that over to Dr. Crusher, and she tried to make a antidote, but the cure, and that was really nice also, they backed up the history of the Enterprise C.
Yeah, the Kirk's ship.
Yeah. And so the cure that Dr. McCoy found for this didn't work. So she needed to redo it again. But meanwhile she was doing that, she was
infected also.
Infected also, yeah. So, and that was a little bit funny as well, because Picard was infected as well, and he came to her, and first it was Dr. Crusher who came to his wedding room, and she was super flirtatious.
And had her hair down and started on her shirt thing.
Yeah. And then it was the other way around. Picard went to the sick bay, and that was also a little bit weird, but also funny. He called her Beverly. Yeah.
Jean-Luc.
Yeah, and she called her she called him Jean-Luc, and he was saying, "No, I'm your captain, so you have to call me captain." And she said, "Well, if I have to call you captain, you have to call me doctor or chief medical officer," she said.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oops, that you really do say that against the captain?
Oh, well, she said it.
So
I have to call you captain.
Yeah, that was really funny. Well, at that moment, we also see that the Enterprise is really in trouble, because the star is collapsing. Dr. Crusher don't have a cure for it. There are more and more callings of that the whole ship is going to be affected. And of course we have Wesley Crusher in the engineering, who is taking command over everything. And that was something weird too. I thought if they tell that to Dr. Crusher, maybe Dr. Crusher, because she is his mother, would be like a motherly tone of, "Wesley, listen to me, get this off to the bridge. We really are in danger, and you can't mess with this, you know?"
Yeah, you think they would have sent her down to give him a bit of a talking to about it, but they were more concerned about her getting the vaccine done.
Yeah, and in one way I can understand that, but there's still that factor of his mom, and I have noticed that in all the seasons in one way, he always have the respect of to his mother, and he always listened to her, and he always get the opinion of his mother, but also of Ken Picard, in his own opinion. And so in one way it was a little weird that she didn't give him a tough talk and say, "Okay, now it's done, you're finished, get everything back to the bridge, and you have house arrest for the next month," or whatever.
Yeah, like she should, like I'm thinking she should have gone down with the others and told him to do that, like give back power to the ship to Captain Picard.
Yeah, and I don't know why they choose that. Perhaps they think that finding the cure is more important than she giving her son a stern talk.
Yeah.
You know what also weird is that Worf isn't infected.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you would think if everyone is affected, then Worf will also affect it. Or he has those strong genes that it doesn't harm him.
Yeah, because Klingon genes are probably a whole lot different than the humans.
Mm-hmm.
So either he caught it and he's not showing it, or he didn't catch it and he's just plain lucky.
Well, in one way, we know of the Klingons, they are very proud. And we know also Worf will not go easily to the doctor.
No, he'd rather fight.
Yeah. But in one way it was still weird that he didn't been affected.
Like at one point, Worf is like basically the one that's, I think he's the only one who was able to think straight. Yeah, he's able to think straight really easily. And while others are like all loopy and sitting in their chairs trying to think of things to say, but Riker was able to help out some. But Worf, he was like doing a lot of work. And he's like, and they're asking where's Data and them, and he's like, well, Data's here behind me, sound right on the ground, fell over.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. Why is Data infected and not Worf?
Yeah, that's so bizarre. Because Data's an android, like not human, but Worf's Klingon, he's also not human, but he did not get infected, but Data did? What is up with that?
So that was really, and the weird thing also was when Data started to put those chips back together in engineering, it was first very slow, and when he got the cure, it was Data again, and he went in fast, and it was almost that he could make it in a way. So when Data was on the bridge and fell down, there was a conversation between Wesley and Picard still, and there was a moment that Wesley offered and said, well, there is a chance we have Data. Data can put them all back together because it's just simple chips.
Yeah. And Data was sitting next to Picard, and Riker slouching in the chair, all happy looking on his face.
There was a point that the engineering chief found a way to put the force field down in engineering where Wesley was. And Wesley was a little in panic, and he knew he was in trouble.
Oh yeah, he knew he was in deep trouble for what he did.
So
he's like, oh crap, I'm in trouble, the shields are down, and he's trying everything to get it to go back up, but it didn't work.
Yeah, and Riker was there, and so Wesley said, well, Data can put the chips back together because he's also fast. Yeah. And so Data started, but it was not Data yet in a way. And I remember that Wesley said in a way, okay, we can see it on the main view where the star collapsing is. And when Wesley saw that, he was...
he's like, oh my god.
Yeah, he was shocked. Because he didn't know...
his face is like the face of... It's like, oh my god, or holy shit, no, this is happening.
Because Wesley is being very smart, he started to explain to Data, well, I know it's a lot of chips down on the ground, but see it as a game. How fast can you do it?
Yeah, like how fast can you go? Like how quick can you do this? Can you beat the timer?
Yeah, and then Wesley, Riker asked Data, can you make it on time? We just have 9 or 10 minutes. And Data said,
well, I need a few minutes more.
Yeah, I just need 1 minute more. And then Wesley come with a solution again to give Data 1 more minute. And he was thinking, okay, I made those thingy thing with tractor beam. Why don't we do that in big?
Yeah, like a tractor beam, but make it bigger, Wesley says. And he hooks his tractor beam up to the ship and uses that to push the other ship. I forget the name of the ship already. But he pushes it into the asteroid. And it blows up, and it gives him gives him a few extra seconds or so.
Yeah, and that the Crusher found the cure, and she,
Yes.
the cure had been spinning around to the whole ship. And then they came in engineering. Picard did give it to Riker, to Wesley, to first the engineering chief, and that was also noticeable. The engineering chief was first a woman and not Geordi, and that's what I also think was with Worf. Was first on at the helm, and I was thinking, but he's more like security, you know. So, yeah, you could see also in this episode that they are still looking in what form and in what color people have to wear, as in what they are known for.
Yeah, like security engineering is like the yellows. Picard, he's captain, he's got red, but there's also that Riker wears red too. And there's blue, which is the medical area. I think those are the three main colors, I think, aren't they? Gold, red, and blue.
Yeah, that's also, and that's maybe the weird thing. Every time if I do a cosplay or if I do I make a new uniform for example, Star Trek Online, I always keep those colors in mind for those decisions.
Yeah,
so,
it's like with my my Dr. Sung cosplay that I did with the vest and shirt. And the vest, I tried to find the right fabric that would work for the right shade. It was a bit of a trick.
Yeah. We're going a little bit off topic now, but did you see the new uniforms of Strange New World?
I did not see that, but I think I saw a picture of it.
Take a look on my Twitter after this, then I have pictures and tweets on it, but there was also, they are going to have a ancestor of...
Yes, I heard about that one. Singh, I thought his name was.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that, to be honest. Okay, let's back to the episode. So, Data got the cure, and then he's going to work 10 times faster.
Yes, he did. He as soon as he got the cure, his head pops up. He's like, "Ooh, cure!" And then his hands were like a literal blur. Like it was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Mm-hmm.
It's like his hands were like moving really, really, really fast, and he did it with like real quick, and they were able to get out of there like super quick away from the asteroid star. I mean.
So, what the else to mention is that Picard and Riker are going to mention Wesley in the logbook that he also saved the Enterprise. And
he was. Yeah, like he had his hand in saving the Enterprise too. So yeah, they are going to mention him in the logbook about it. And I think they said they mentioned his science teacher too.
That was nice to hear too. And it's the recognition that people need to hear. And it was also really funny how Worf reacted. Oh, Wesley the boy! And Crusher said, yes, Wesley the boy.
The boy? Yes, the boy. My son.
I think that was also a little start that how... And Picard said that at the end. We're going to be a good crew if we can...
hold off our temptations.
Yep.
And then Data and Yar both look at each other, then look away.
Yeah, that was the last point I had on the notes. Troy came back on the bridge, Tasha Yar came back on the bridge, and the first thing Tasha did was looking at Data. And so she walked up to Data and said, well, Data, what you think what was happening didn't happen, and that's it. And
yeah, like, it didn't happen.
I think they left the fans with their own imagination what happened in that room.
Yeah. She's like, don't you say a word type thing. It's like, nope, it didn't happen. We didn't do it.
Yeah, this was the end of the episode. What do you think overall of the episode?
I love that episode.
Yeah, me
Good
too.
episode. I liked it.
It was maybe a real start of TNG, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I just thought Encounter at Farpoint was a little bit hasty because of they had a big storyline to tell.
Yeah.
But this was quite nice. So there is only one thing we still need to do, and that is the ranking of the episode. What's your ranking?
Oh. Oof. I really loved it, so I'm gonna say a 10.
Okay.
I loved it. I'm gonna give it a 10.
Okay. I will give it an 8.5. Yes, I loved it. But I know there will be more excited and more better episodes in the near future. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, for a kind of begin episode, yeah, it was quite nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was nice to talk to you again, Amanda, and I think we're really enjoying watching all those episodes.
Yep.
I noticed by myself is that I sometimes really want to watch the next episode right away, but okay, that's me. The next episode we're going to recap is the Code of Honor.
Yes, that episode.
I hope you guys, your listeners who, and I don't know if the listeners are doing this, but maybe there are some of you who also rewatch the episode, what we are watching, and maybe, yeah, you can also discuss with us on the Facebook group and YouTube channel. You can comment on there or on my Twitter, personal Twitter. I didn't have made a special Twitter for Girls Talking Trek, but okay. It would be nice if you guys tell us what you think of this podcast and what you like about the episode, and if you have your own opinion about the episode, just let us know. Really, that's one of the reasons we made this podcast. And yeah, who knows, maybe one of you can join us in one live episode. What do you think, Amanda?
Have the occasional person join us for discussions and stuff.
Yeah, because we are looking back at the episode like with a female touch, and I always say if you do it with more persons see more things than that we. If you do it alone or if you do it just with two persons. And it would be nice if we can hear some of you guys' opinions about of the episode.
Yeah, and that'd be a good idea.
So
like I said, that would be a good idea to have some guests on that get their opinions about episodes.
Yeah, it would be nice. And then it's not our opinion also, but it is somebody else's opinion as well. And I just hope that we get a little bit more listeners to join us and talk with us about Star Trek and the episode, because that is why I made this episode and of this podcast, and also my other podcast, Orinda Talks Fantasy and Sci-Fi. Yeah, just get it out, and I hope women who are listening to this podcast, girls, don't be shy, just get along. And there are a lot of men who are always already doing podcasts like this, etc. So now it's the girls who have to show their powers and said, okay, we have girl power, and this is what we think from a woman point of view.
Yeah. Don't be shy. Speak up, girls.
It was a lovely episode again. So the next episode is the Code of Honor. I'm excited to hear you next time, Amanda, again, to what you think about it.
Yeah, I can't wait to be on for the next one.
So I must say I'm having fun making this and just having you as a co-host. I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, it is fun doing it.
Well, let's hope that we can do this for a long time.
Well, there are a lot of episodes.
We have a lot of episodes to do, so it's about 7 seasons, and so yeah, we're still just started.
Episode 2 is done.
I'd like to thank you for joining me again, and I will see you in about 2 weeks. Thank you for listening, and join us in 2 weeks with a new episode recap. The episode we're going to talk about is the Code of Honor. If you like this podcast, you can listen, follow, subscribe, and comment on Anchor, Spotify, Radio Public, Breaker, Google Podcast, the Facebook group and YouTube channel of Girls Talking Trek. I hope you guys join us on the Facebook and the YouTube channel for commenting on the episode, not only of the podcast episode, but also on the Star Trek episode. And just let's talk about it. Like we said in the recap, it's very important to us to talk with you guys about those episodes. I really like it. Amanda likes it. So, Trekkies, don't be shy. Just join our conversation. I'll see you next time.